my work examines how different types of design affect how much we walk and exercise, what we eat and how much we eat, the stress levels we experience, and how we socialize or interact with each other. And this is really important because at the School of Architecture, our approach emphasizes classical and traditional architecture. We talk about authority in design and acknowledging different fields, both in academia and in practice. And we need to understand different types of research and how that can inform our design. So for example, if social scientists are studying how different types of housing can affect children's mental health, they might study cortisol levels or psychological well-being. But if we deliver those results to practitioners, they might not be applicable to the day-to-day life in a design firm. So my research group is also looking at translating that type of information into design guidelines that can be used by practitioners in the field. So our program is unique in that it emphasizes classical and traditional architecture. We think about every component of a building, as it relates to other components of the building, its site, and the surrounding community. So instead of designing a building in a vacuum or just to promote creative expression of an architect, we really focus on supporting the needs of the users and also thinking about environmental sustainability concerns. So sourcing locally, thinking about the context and the history of the place that you're designing for, the people who will use the building now and in the future as well, and making sure that we can maximize the beneficial effects of whatever proposal we're working on at the time. One concept has to do with our control of privacy and social interaction. So if you think of, for example, a dormitory design on a college campus, you go into the front doors into a lobby and either down a hallway to your room or to the elevator or stairs to a double-loaded corridor, which is an arrangement where you have rooms on either side of the hallway and you go directly into your room. Other arrangements have more pod-like arrangements or quad arrangements like we have here, where you go into a common space and then two people share a space for sleeping or studying. So you have this hierarchy from public spaces to private spaces, and that allows students to regulate when they can interact with other students or when they can close their door and be away from students for more quiet activities. And that actually promotes social interaction. So you're more likely to engage with your community in your dorm and on campus if you have this regulation. That applies to children and families in different housing as well. So if you're in a high-rise affordable housing complex, for example, and you live on one of the top floors without that hierarchy or shared common space between the public space and your apartment, you're more likely to become socially isolated in your apartment and less likely to know your neighbors or go outside and use the outdoor spaces. My research group, which we call Healthy Places ND for short, consists of about 5 undergraduate research assistants from multiple fields, including architecture, psychology, and social science, the sciences, and engineering, who are all interested in how the built environment will affect their work. So we're involved in several different projects, one looking at the effects of school cafeteria design and how it promotes healthy decisions in lunch lines, especially among elementary schools and low-income communities. We're working with permanent supportive housing and developing design guidelines that help the residents and the staff in these facilities. We're also looking into neighborhood design and how that might affect children's mental health. As architects, we know a lot about how cities can promote walking, for example, and physical health, but we know less about mental health. So we're working on developing a tool that allows us to assess housing and neighborhood design as it relates to children's mental health. Notre Dame's emphasis on service, social justice, and community-based work is really important to my work. It allows me to be connected to the community and practitioners interested in helping people and promoting user-based or human-centered design. The Notre Dame students are also especially interested in how architecture can support the users of their buildings. So their classical training allows them to design dignified, durable, and functional buildings for the users, and also think about how those buildings contribute to the surrounding community.